All right, time for this week's About Your Retirement. Jim, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. So good to see you.
This week, a viewer asked, Jim, last week you spoke about people using telemedicine with doctors due to my husband's conditions. The advantages you said would greatly help us. Can you help me better understand how I should proceed, please? You said you've gotten a lot of questions like this, huh?
Well, we have, and last week we talked about it, and because of a viewer question, and now I had several more questions come through. Well, how do I get started? And so what we want to do today, because this is newer, but I feel like it's much safer for many people in many cases, and you know,
sure,
where they don't have to go somewhere where there may be other sick people and all. And so newer, safer. It does involve the computer and setting it up to be able to do telemedicine, and for me, it's probably easier to have a grandchild do that for me, you know.
Right.
But my 6-year-old grandchild, one of my cell phone problems, she fixed it. That was years ago, but anyway. So we have some steps, Dana, that we want to offer to help people initiate this. And the first one is you obviously want to check with your physicians and be sure they are equipped and set up and they do the telemedicine, that they have a program for it and all. And then also check with your insurance company, make sure that it is acceptable there. It is my understanding that pandemic time, that all the insurance companies, many physicians, all this set this up because it saved it a lot of time and money, and it was much safer, especially for our adult age generation. The second step you want to do is really think about what are your medical needs and make sure your physician agrees that telemedicine is viable for you to use. And now we want to pause here and say, you know, if you fall, you break a bone or
right,
something like that, you may need to go to the ER, so you can't just do that. But the next step is to make your visit preparations, and that involves making sure that you have your setup done right. Make sure you have somebody there with you. Many times the physicians want to check your vitals where they can observe them on screen, and I've participated in this, so I understand the process and all. And so then the other thing is connect with your doctors. They're going to give you a link to connect with them. And probably somebody on their staff is going to do a practice run so that you can be sure that when it's time for that appointment, you can do it and still utilize the time-saving features. I encourage everybody to write down all of your symptoms and write a list of all of your questions, and be sure you just read them off to your physician so you get all your questions answered and you have a good telemedicine time.
All right, great advice, Jim. And don't forget, you can get more retirement advice on Jim's other show, Watch Baby Boomers in Action, every weekend on News 9 and News 9 Plus. And for more information, visit news9.com/retirement.